So I want to start with kind of the nature and the dynamic of a family business. Because like you had this intimate front row seat to the restaurant industry, this behind the scenes thing. I think there's so many people in our industry that get into it because it looks glamorous, because at times it probably feels glamorous to an outsider. But you had an insider's perspective, being that your family was so deeply rooted in the industry. What inspired you to keep it going? What did you see that you liked when you looked at your parents?
Um, to be honest, I never thought that will be in the same business as my parents, having to see all the craziness from the family, how they work, all the family fights, and I'm like, I see it every day, and I always think to myself, like, is this what I want to do? But I end up doing it because it kind of grew into me without knowing. Um, Me not being allowed to play outside, home with my grandparents, and there's really nothing to do except by going to the kitchen and check out like, hey, what are you doing? It turned out she's making my favorite curry. So I cooked with her and it turned out amazing. My parents loved it and they didn't know at the time that I made it. And from that compliment have kind of like, oh, I actually have this. And my grandma kind of showed me the way that I have this natural skill in cooking that I was able to understand how to build flavor. So I kind of stuck to it as a hobby in the beginning. And eventually, when mom started traveling, going to different country for 3 months and 6 months, she's just look at me and Katie like, hey, can you guys look after the restaurant? And we were so young. I mean, we were like 18, 19, and we're able to do that naturally at young age. And I was like, you know what? I can do this. I think I'm enjoying this. So that's how it actually started for us.
And when you say you were good at it, I think one of the hurdles for many of us, like, what I like to say is like, not most of us don't graduate at the top of our class from Cornell University, right?
Yeah,
Most
right.
of us just come up through the ranks and then eventually find funding
Uh-huh.
or find a foothold.
Uh-huh.
Um, Through that process, you learned how to manage a restaurant. You learned how to
Right.
cook
Right.
on a high level, but that doesn't mean you know how to run a business.
No.
And I think that the reason that most great restaurants go out of business is because they run a great restaurant and a terrible business. And
Right.
so how did you learn the fundamentals of how to run a restaurant from a business perspective?
We definitely learn from our mistake and we play it by ears every day. We look around like, oh, that's in trend. We should do this. Oh, Thai food is popular. Maybe we should open in this area. I mean, it was probably the easiest thing to do and make money at that time was Thai food. It was everywhere. It was just booming. And during the 90s and early 2000s, it was like you can even make pad thai with ketchup and you'd be running a great business. That there are people lines out the door for making wrong kind of pad thai because
Sure.
people don't know Thai food yet. So,
And then let's talk about the roles specifically. So, your first location, you took over your family business.
yes.
And what I think is so interesting, and maybe it's because there was no family business for me to inherit, right? But it's like, if you were to start a business from scratch, it's a meritocracy, right? You hire the person that is most qualified to do the thing. Whereas in this case, maybe you were born that way, and if so, God love you. But for most of us, it's an evolutionary process, right? I went from being a terrible manager to a good manager to maybe some would say a great manager
Mm-hmm.
over the course of time. So assuming that you weren't qualified the day you stepped into the role, but understanding the value in that. How
Mm-hmm.
did you work to earn the role? How did you develop yourself into the person you needed to become to not
Uh-huh.
only grow this individual business, but also to scale into other concepts?
Uh-huh. I get a thank because of my joining the volleyball team, and I was the captain.
Uh-huh.
That kind of give me like a lead of how to become how to lead in a team effort.
Uh-huh.
So coming to a restaurant that is your parent, you kind of have that privilege because you're the daughter's owner. So people kind of listen to you automatically. But I feel like if you don't have that result, then you don't have their back. They have problem. You need to fix that problem. Right or wrong, you don't know. I don't know it, but I know that I fixed their problem at that time, and we were able to move on, and then fix each problem every day for everybody until they respect you and they like, okay, when we have problem, we'll go to Amanda. She solves everything. So slowly, I got their respect deeply.
Very different. I mean, maybe not. I don't know where you went to high school, but very different
Fairfax.
problems in volleyball than there are in restaurants.
Yes.
Rarely does somebody show up hammered or so painfully hungover that they can't function to a
It was just
volleyball
high
game.
school. It was just high school, but definitely, um, you,
Those are difficult issues,
yeah.
to tackle as
What
a
I,
leader.
uh-huh. What I
Go
see
ahead.
similar is that it's almost like politics. You have to deal with each individual personality differently. You gotta speak to them this way so they feel that I care. And then this person could be easier, like, oh, he just need to like know what to do. That's it. So everybody's different. So I was able to be patient enough to deal with different kind of personality and without any issue, without like, okay, I don't like your personality, you got to go with my personality. I kind of work with everybody. So that's how I really get acquainted and kind of got my respect.
You do seem very methodical. I was doing this consulting gig for a client, and they hired a really young, really talented chef. And
Hmm.
my job was to make sure that he would be successful. And in our first meeting, he was taking over an existing restaurant that was already open to the public.
Right.
And he said, well, the first thing that I want to do is I want to flip the menu. So what we're going to do is we're going to shut down for 3 days, fully flip the menu, and then turn it around. And I was like, dude, there is no way you're going to flip this menu in 3 days and not have this
Hmm.
thing be a shit show for weeks
Hmm.
thereafter.
Hmm.
Um, Chefs like to chef. They like to change things. They like to start fundamentally. I mean, I told him I started the conversation by speaking to his concern, saying, listen, dude, I know you don't want to come in and cook somebody else's food. But having said that, you're not going to flip a full restaurant in 72 hours and have it operate successfully. And so when you take the helm of your family's restaurant,
Hmm.
like I see these two very clear paths.
Hmm.
One is that you burn it all down and you start fresh. This is a new generation. This is a new perspective. This is my restaurant now. This is how I'm going to run it based on what I believe people want. Or number two, you just keep the trains running on time. If it ain't
Hmm.
broke, don't fix it.
Hmm.
And you chose neither one of those options. But like walking into this conversation, and I talk for a living. It's really hard for me to articulate how I would describe it as evolved the menu.
Uh-huh.
Um, Talk to me about your perspective walking into that role of what you think was going well, where you saw room for improvement, and how you chose to evolve the menu as a result.
Okay, when I started coming back into help mom and dad because they were retiring, um, I have other restaurants and I see how customers have actually improved in their taste palette. And during my time and during my parents' time, there are not a lot of ingredients that's offered out there. And when they're starting to have ingredients, like let's say curry paste ready, bought in, so that all the ingredients is there. So my parents started using them. But then eventually, every Thai restaurant started using them. So it's the same taste. And I wanted to go back to when they started, when they don't have any ingredients and they search for things that are similar. And that works. That what makes them popular. But now, during my time, we have everything. Everything. So why don't we go back to where we started with the actual ingredients and see the feedback? And I'm sure they love it because I love it. If I cook something that I love, I take out anything that I don't like. I don't like, let's say mom would have like beef teriyaki. I'm like, Mom, no. That's Chinese. I know everybody knows Thai food. We just have to eliminate all that. Just trust me on this. And we went full on authentic Thai. And I make sure that I build on flavor and I don't skip any small recipes or anything. It's the way grandma makes it. And it tastes amazing. But it did fire back on me because
How so?
uh, I revamped the restaurant to more an open concept, make its seating space smaller, and try to make the kitchen bigger because I really want to work in there and have more space. And I think people thought that it was a different restaurant. And so when they came in, I took a lot of the comfort Chinese food off the menu. And I get people who've been coming for over 30 something years kind of was afraid to come in and try. But it took me about a year for old customers started coming back in, giving me that chances once they found out that, oh, the daughter is running it. They came in, they tasted the food, and they loved it. They said it's even better before. I don't know why I waited this long. I should just come when it uh, uh, did another grand opening. Word of mouth, it started to spread out that, hey, it's still Chao Krung, the daughter taking over. She's now full-on chef, and she's making amazing Thai squid from scratch. So that's
There
how yeah,
was there a financial cost to that? I
there
mean,
was.
I would, because that's terrifying, right?
Yes,
And it's certainly an industry where we question ourselves all the time, right?
I
Um, every
definitely,
week,
but
right?
yeah,
Every week I look in the mirror and I'm like, you are a genius. Or I say, you are an idiot, right? And
right,
and it's
yeah,
exclusively determined by the last piece of information I
right,
received. You
yeah,
know, a long time, a year's a long time to wait that out.
yeah.
Were there leading indicators over the course of that year that you were headed in the right direction, that this was the right decision?
Um, it. I always think positive, and I feel that what I'm doing or what I'm cooking or presenting is authentic Thai, and I just need people to hear from me. I mean, the first year was just like, as a restaurant owner, it's like paycheck to paycheck, to be honest with you. But because we have such a good landlord, Mr. Harvey, who was a last Holocaust survivor, he's a great friend of my mom. And I used to go pay rent at his house, and he would make me lentil soup. So our rent is so cheap that nobody would, if anybody found out, I'm like, oh my God, that's your rent. It's like probably half of what other people pay in that area.
Mm-hmm.
So I think because of the low rent, we were able to survive that struggle in the beginning, and slowly, once we start getting more busy, it profits later
You
on.
know, I, I'm a big believer that, one of the biggest hurdles that most restaurants have is that, they're trying to figure out what people want so they can give it to them. When I think that the only restaurants that truly succeed are extensions of self.
Mm-hmm.
that like we're all really ordinary, right? And like you like
Right.
Amanda, everyone
Right.
likes. And so if you just do what you would like instead of trying to cook for this
Please.
pretend person that you don't
Yeah.
know and you don't know what
Right.
they like, that
Right.
if you just cook for yourself, if you just sell to yourself, if you build for yourself, you end up in a really good spot. The way that I got there was I destroyed my whole life. I had like a really successful. I did. I swear to God, it was like a
Um.
super successful bar in Hollywood. Then I opened
Uh-huh.
this fine dining restaurant for people that I don't know, and then I lose $250,000 in the first year. And like when I
Mm-hmm.
rebuilt it and turned it
Mm-hmm.
around, it was because of two things. Number one, I built for myself. I built the restaurant of my dreams, and as it turns out, everybody likes what I like. Not
Mm-hmm.
because I'm exceptional, but because I'm incredibly ordinary. But
Mm-hmm.
number two, I was willing to go out of business.
Mm-hmm.
I knew it was the right decision. I knew
Mm-hmm.
that this would work. And if it didn't work, I was okay with going out of business
Mm-hmm.
because I'm not trying to build something for someone else. I'm trying to build something for me that I think needs to be in the world. Uh, the stakes were high for you, right? Because your sister works
Right.
at the restaurant, your family works at the
Right.
restaurant. Like they could have been like just a cataclysmic
Yeah. I
failure.
can't. Right. I can't even think about not failing. It's because I've taken over my parents, and I there's a lot of people I need to prove to that I can do this. Uh, and keep the family legacy alive. So there was no failing for me. That's I never looked there. I always struggle every day for the first year, and I always believe that people would notice, people will come back. Just do what you think is best, what you believe in, be confident. So I was always confident about my food.
And so was there iteration on that menu in the first year? Like when you say that you would not let it fail, is it because you were doing the same thing day in and day out, or was it because you were reading the market, you were reading the tea leaves, you were seeing what was working, and you were making micro adjustments accordingly throughout that year?
I wasn't reinventing Thai food. I was just elevating it, just giving it the spotlight it deserved. And the regular pad thai or a grab pao that is like a no-brainer for a customer are done exact same way every Thai restaurant in LA. I want to be different, as in I'm offering something that all the ingredients that Thai people would make in Thailand, because we do have all these ingredients. And I don't want to skip step or like make it easy, make it fast. I take my time and I make sure that it's authentic, for sure that it's different than other pad Thai. It's going to be different than other Thai restaurants. And it is. I mean, we got the best pad Thai written by Eater LA. And that's something I'm really proud of, because I've been struggling with that recipe for the first year, and we finally got it right. And now customers are raving about it, loving, and that's the one thing I'm really proud of.
I think that one of the things that holds us back from changing anything in our
Hmm.
business or working to improve our business or removing anything from the menu is this fear of pushback, right? That,
Right.
you end up selling all of these things you don't want to sell on what is an obviously bloated menu. And it's because that one dude's going to come in and absolutely lose his shit if this one dish, and he's the only person that orders it, and he doesn't have any friends, right? But like, if he doesn't get this dish that no one else orders, like he's gonna
Uh-huh.
lose it. And so people just leave things on their menu. I would assume probably over the course of that first 3 months, 6 months, you
Oh yeah.
probably had dozens of uncomfortable conversations. Did
Oh
you
yeah.
not? Um,
I did.
what was that like? Like, how did you position it in a way that didn't feel like you were punishing the guest or moving
Hmm.
forward without them, but let them know that like you're doing this for them, not to them?
Right. Definitely a lot of complaints about Chinese dish that we had on the menu that was not there anymore. But I've never had problem with our Thai food. And I would kind of guide them and say, this is what I'm trying to do now. We're trying to eliminate all the Chinese uh, recipe on the menu because I think everybody knows Thai food, and I just want to make sure that everything I offer here, even though it's the same menu as other Thai restaurants, but I can guarantee you it's different because I make everything from scratch. If just give me a chance, try something just like pad Thai, because he was complaining about sweet and sour. He loved sweet and sour, and I don't have that sweet and sour anymore. Well, pad Thai is a little sweet. I think you'll enjoy it. Just give it a try, and if you don't like it, it's okay. You don't even have to pay for it. I think he
Sure.
ended up loving it. He came back like 3 times a week just to order the pad Thai. And, good friends now. I haven't seen him for a little while because he's old. He's very old.
Yeah.
Because our customer they come in like in the early 30s and they're still here. They're like probably in their 50s, 60s, and they're still here. They're just like family. So I keep that relationship with my customer for sure.
And then I want to talk about the other concepts, like as you grew through it. One of the things that I love about the evolution of your family's restaurant is that you run a really tight menu and you don't run the gamut. One of the things that I do when I work with restaurant clients, like you would think that as a professional marketer, what I do is I bolt on like all of these shiny objects to your menu, to your business, to your market, but I don't. Like the great marketing is stripping out everything that is not what makes you a category of one and just pulling away all of the distractions. And that's exactly what you did with the menu, right? Like it is, you made it into something that is pure, that is simple, that is like the leader in that category. You were able to cannibalize the entire category because you weren't willing to mix cuisines, because you were willing to niche down. I always look at Cane's, Raising Cane's fried chicken, right? The guy couldn't get financing in the early days because who's going to open a restaurant that only serves chicken fingers? But it goes to show that like simplicity scales. So when you look at your other concepts, especially the burger concept, how did you layer simplicity into the menu to become a category of one?
Okay, so having to not born in the U.S., raised here since I was 7 years old. Going second grade elementary school. First thing I ate was cheeseburger.
Sure.
Loved it. Loved it. And then the other day would be taco and burrito, and no, not my thing. But I grew into it. Now I love it. But
Mm-hmm.
burger is something that I think it was cheese that I love automatically. I didn't have to learn how to enjoy that. And having my dad to really love Tommy's burger, that burger, and he would take his two girls and like, try this burger. I'm sure it's gonna be better than school burger. We loved it. I mean, I love school burger and I do love Tommy's burger. And to be able to create a American classic with Thai comfort food and Thai just like condense that into one, it's always something in Katie and my mind that we can actually, because somebody asked me, would you want to be raised anywhere? I was like, no, LA is everything. All
For
this
sure.
culture. I can eat Korean, Indian, Ethiopian. I can eat any kind of food. But to show that I am also an American girl and a Thai girl, I want to create this burger. We want to create this burger that's American Thai that is one of the culture that is here in LA and it's very popular. Not just Thai food, but we can actually throw in flavor in our classic burger and everybody love it. And there's a great article that said that Ban Ban Burger fits like a pair of Crocs at a wedding. That's how we stand out. And I'm like, that's the perfect explanation. I love that review. So Katie and I kind of like high five on that. Like we did it. We did it.
Yeah.
We didn't want to present Ban Ban and say, oh my God, these girls don't know how to make burgers. These Thai girls don't know how to make burgers. We know burgers. We know what it goes in the the aioli, the American cheese. We love American cheese. I know that a lot of people are giving bad reps about American cheese, but we found a cheese that was actually amazing. Our American cheese is by Chef Greeny.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we did the American cheese and it's phenomenal. We loved it. It has some curry in there, some spice in there that actually match up with our flavor, and it worked out so well. I mean, people love it. I'm amazed that it's been written up by New York Times and LA Times, and I'm just like, oh my God, I can't believe, being recognized by this, but we really appreciate it and we're very proud of it.
It's a force of nature. It really is. And,
Yeah.
it's whenever you start a new concept,
Mm-hmm.
the thing that I think we're always obligated to ask ourselves as restaurateurs is like, does the world really need another burger joint?
Right.
Does the world need another Mexican cantina? Um, especially in LA. And I think the answer by and large is no. But I think when it is something that is truly original, which Bam Bam Burger is, that creates kind of this twofold scenario. Like, number
Mm-hmm.
one, right? You know that like you can be a category of one, you can own the entire market. If number two, there's a market for that thing.
Right.
I would go back to the let's call it the month before you actually opened, where we go back to the genius or idiot conversation. I was so I owned this bar on Hollywood Boulevard, and it was like this New Orleans inspired thing, and I was the first guy to do it, and nightclubs were all the rage, right? This is like
Yeah.
2009,
Yeah.
2010, and I'm like,
Right.
I want to open a shithole bar like the one I grew up in, and maybe people will like it. And I'm having a beer down the street with my business partner. We're in the midst of construction. We're almost done. And he goes, so why don't you think anyone's ever done this before? It just seems like such a good idea. And I
Uh-huh.
said, either because I'm a genius or because it is a terrible idea. Like, this could be, right? It could be the worst idea ever. And
Right.
so, right, to your point, like, you're opening, like, Thai especially in LA, right? Super popular cuisine.
Right.
And then, burgers, right? There's a new burger joint opening every single week. And you're like the first person to fuse these familiar things together in an unfamiliar way. I mean, did you test it or did you just
Yeah.
you did?
You did. We did a lot of R&D,
Okay.
like, but
Talk to me about that.
it took us like about 2 months because we had to do something fast because we're not gonna keep paying rent and not make any money.
For
And
sure.
this space is next to our tuk tuk Thai, and we can't do another Thai, but we can do something that has some Thai flavor in them that everybody would love.
Sure.
And there was a lot of things throwing at, and I didn't like the idea. I mean, like, what is it missing? So I kind of end up at another smash burger place after the meeting, and I was eating because I love burgers. So we went to end up at a smash burger place, get stressed out, like, what am I gonna do next? And I'm eating this burger, and I'm like, I have this burger in my hand. It's so amazing. I'm like, that's it. I'm gonna make a Thai smash burger. And I called Katie right away, and she's like, yeah, why didn't this came up during the meeting? Like, I don't know. I just had to taste like something that I believe that it will work. And I happened to go to a smash burger place, and I loved it. And we just that's how it started. It's like we're doing a Thai smash burger, and then the next week we did R&D for about 2 months, and then we got it. We got something. We had a lot of people come in and try, and they're like, "Wow, this is different." I mean, smash burger, ton of smash burger in LA. It all tastes the same eventually, but I know that ours stands out for sure.
Now, when we look at the flavor profile of the burgers, and then we look at Tuk Tuk, and we look at it, the original family location,
Hmm.
something that I struggled with in my own concepts. They were southern in nature, so think like very seafood forward, very seafood heavy. Um, it's not something people eat all the time. You
Right.
know, the bar in Hollywood was powered by like 20 alcoholics that had a ton of friends, right? And they were in there every night of the week, right? But when I got into full service, when I got into fine dining, what I figured out
Mm-hmm.
was like I needed a much larger total addressable market. And so when I look at Thai food as a segment, I think it crushes, right? I think there's this massive demand for it, but it lacks frequency. You
Mm-hmm.
know, it's one of those things like the average consumer isn't going to eat Thai food multiple times per week. They're not going to eat Thai food once a week. They're probably going to eat it once, twice a month. And
Mm-hmm.
so, talk to me about how you look at customer frequency, how you look at marketing to make sure that you are everyone's go to and they're coming to you with frequency.
Here's the thing um, what I think about Thai food is that I get it when you go have like some certain food every day and you want to keep changing it. There's an opportunity to change cuisine every week. We can have Thai, we can have Indian, we can have Japanese, but I feel like Thai food is very addicting because there is that layer flavor uh, that you can't get in other cuisine. Let's say sweet, sour, and salty at the same time. Now these three flavor kind of like satisfy your taste palette. With Ban Ban, there's that burger, that smash burger place, flavor that satisfied you. But then you're like, okay, I got that now. I want to go do something else about maybe another flavor. But we created that one burger flavor and we added another flavor to it, which is another Thai flavor, which is more like a sour and then also sweetness, savory basically. So you have three flavor in there. So that's what kept our customer coming back for every week. I'm still questioning my sister like, well, he was just here last week. He's here again. She was just here 2 weeks ago. She's here again. You know, so there we have repeat customer all the time. The advantage of the Thai food is that it's so tasty that is such a comfort food that everybody craves the next day. And my philosophy is like I cook for friends and family and I make sure that they remember this taste. And then 2 days later they will be craving it again and come back to get the same flavor again. So I think we're good at this, at getting customer back in house at least twice a week. In a month,
Is
I would
that a
say
strategy, or is that you think it's happening organically, or is that because of something
it's
you're doing?
happening. It's something what I'm. It's happening organically, and it's something that we're doing passionately, making because I'm very proud to see regular customer comes back every time and having the hospitality, offering the hospitality, and listening to them and you know listen to what they want. Comfort food. They want economy friendly price, and also the friendship is there. The interaction is there. I thought it's just like making food for a friend every week and come in like, oh hi Mark. We build that relationship with customer. So that's the only way you can get customer back. It just
Let's talk.
it's not just a transaction. That's what I'm trying to say. It's more than that.
Let's talk about LA generally.
Yeah.
Um, we have seen just massive closures, massive
Oh
closures.
yes.
I believe that there have been more closures over the last 2 years than there were during the pandemic. The statistics are just startling, and we're seeing very familiar names go out of business, which is terrifying, right? And so you're seated in
Right.
LA, and you're seated in LA with multiple concepts. When you see it, it's scary, right? Like there's no way it's not frightening. But what are the levers? Like when you see those articles, and I do too. What are the levers you're pulling to make sure that doesn't happen to you? What are the fundamentals of your business that are going to make sure you survive the next 50 years?
It's to hear my a lot of my friends close down. I always think about like, oh gosh, I mean, they spend so much money and it's Thai food. So I try to look at their flaws and try to improve that for myself and make sure to uh, keep offering Thai food that is again economy friendly prices, and that's something that people can come back to. Again, going back to how we get customer to come back at least 3 to 4 times a month is the key to survival. And for my friend who just opening up a restaurant, I think it's because a lot of customers are already uh, comfortable in my area. I have friends that open Thai restaurant in my area. People are already comfortable with us, and they're okay with the pricing, and they're not willing to try something new. And if they do try something new and they're not happy, they come back to us. So we try to make sure that our food standard is always there. I think every chef wants have to have that consistency. So training is really important inside the kitchen. So that's what we offer is uh, passion. We offer family cooking that is offered to almost like a friend who comes in and just buy the food. We're back there cooking the best we can.
I want to talk about restraint
Uh,
because I think it's your superpower. I look across all of your locations, and across all of the locations, none of your menus are prohibitively large, especially when you think about like how long these concepts have been around. They've been around long enough that there should be some semblance of scope creep, right? Menu creep, right? I think it's so rare that people start out with a 50 item menu, a 60 item menu. They start out with like a 28 item menu, right? And then like they wake up one day and they're like, holy shit, this thing has tripled in size. I don't look at your menu and say you've got small menus, but I do see restraint. And so
mm,
I bring that up because I'm sure that it's hard. As an entrepreneur, it's hard to not get distracted. It's hard to not see, Johnny Ray Zone doing something crazy at Howlin' Ray's and be like, oh shit, I want to do that too. Um, so how do you not get distracted? How do you make sure that your menu stays tight so that the fundamentals of your business stay strong?
Actually, when I started helping my mom out when we renovate everything, the menu was actually almost 60, 70 items on the menu,
Ugh.
and I took out a lot. We didn't start out at 50. We actually started more. So we actually kind of just, okay, get rid of that, get rid of that,
For
get rid of
sure.
that. There's no way we can manage the kitchen or be make 70 items and make everything amazing. I mean, we can't do that. I did definitely probably one of the struggle in the beginning when I first started with coming back to help mom is that I took a lot of the things out on the menu, and there was a lot of comfort food for a lot of my customers, especially those Chinese items like wonton soup, for for instance. Took that out and put just Thai soup in there. And I'm like, what happened to my wonton soup? And just like, we want to be authentic as much as possible. And you can try the soup, it works out for them. So yeah, having to tone it down and then making sure that every dish is cooked the best way possible so that when the customer comes back and taste it again, tasted the pad thai again, tasted the gapao again, they would be like, oh, this is actually better. And once I prove that, they'll start coming back. And that's exactly what I do in the kitchen is that consistency, training, making sure that every recipe is has the same taste every day. Portioning out everything is very important. Portioning out measuring out things, making sure that it doesn't have to be a Thai chef to understand it. I can train anybody. And any guy, any culture who comes in and wants to work with me with Thai food, I can train them. I have this recipe that they need to follow, and making sure that I'm there executing the skill. It's just all about training.
I want to talk about leadership and
Yeah.
balance and how those two things work together. And the reason I do is because like you manage your family. Um and so it's like really high stakes. And like I can tell you it's I think one of the biggest issues with the industry is that that we treat each other as family, right? There's no sense of accountability. We're not functioning like a high performance team. We're functioning like people at a family reunion.
Hmm.
You're afraid to say the hard thing, to have the difficult conversation, which is true in almost all restaurants, but more true in yours because you're actually blood related to a bunch of these people. And so I would ask you,
uh,
what's that like? How does that make you a better leader? How are you able to achieve balance when, your sister just totally whiffs something and then you got to have dinner with her later that night in front of your parents?
oh gosh, me and my sister, we do not see eye to eye all the time, probably 80% of the time. But we do different roles. We take different roles. She's the marketing side, and I'm the chef. So we try not to step over the line. And sometimes she does that. She loves to play chef. Like, hey, let's do this. Let's put this on the menu. She's more of a trendy girl. It's like, hey, let's do Brussels sprout. And I'm like, ah, Brussels sprout. It's not Thai food. So, I mean, to please her, I I put them in, and customer loves it, but it's still not my thing. And eventually, it's in there for about a year, and I slowly just take it out.
Yeah.
But Brussels sprouts out, and I bring back to whatever I feel passionate about. So yeah, Katie and I always clash between ideas, but at the end of the day, what we talk about what is best for the business, and we just need to follow through that. We had help. We hire people. We listen, and we just talk about like, okay, if we run into this situation, I think this works best, and we agree on that. But maybe some ideas about decoration in the restaurant, she doesn't let me touch that. If I was like, let's do this here, so I was like, no, 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 because we're both very competitive. So I try to stay away. I'm as a chef and working with my employee, I'm already, stressed out every day because I got to work with different personality and kind of train them to count one, two, and three. And then I'm happy for her to deal with the front and the marketing and all the strategy. Just kind of like at the end of the day, just let me know what's going on, and I'll work with you just to make sure that the business survives. I think doesn't matter how much we fight. It's at the end of the day, we stick together. We still love each other. Um, with my mom, she also has input, but at the end of the day, again, we all always like sit down at a dinner table, and we love each other. What do we want? It's the same goal. Is for the restaurant to just be busy, and have everybody has a job, employee has the job, the family is doing well. Thai food is well known by us. We keep the legacy. That's all we want. That's literally all we need. I don't need to be a popular chef. Katie doesn't need to be a popular entrepreneur for a restaurant. We just need to run the business and make sure it's successful. That's all. That's the key.